Hi! Welcome back to my channel! Today, we'll be discussing My Sweet Husky Daddy by Lyla Katagiri. Now before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiling this manga, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. For those of you left behind, let's go over some content warnings. There may be references to age gaps, child neglect, mentions of cheating not by the main characters, divorce, and child abandonment, as these things do appear in the manga. But if that's all with you, let's go and get started. Saiichi is looking for a life partner. He's pretty popular at the matchmaking events he signed up for, but when he starts talking about his favorite thing in the world, he loses all momentum and ends up alone. What is this favorite thing? None other than his son. Saiichi's entire life revolves around his 16-year-old son Ayato, a bright and talented kid whom Saiichi raised entirely on his own at the age of 18 before his son was 1. Saiichi is perfectly content spending his life parenting Ayato, but as Ayato gets older, he pushes his loving father to find someone to keep him company when Ayato inevitably leaves the house. Saiichi can't imagine life without his son in his house, but it's a reality he has to face. So he's willing to try and find a partner with the intention of eventually marrying them. Unlike Saiichi, at his latest matchmaking mixer, there's another young man there who seems perfectly capable of working the room, but to his surprise, they both walk away with no matches at the end of it all. Not wanting to waste the night, Saiichi decides to go out to drink with the young man, Inukai, and bemoan their bad luck at these events. What he doesn't anticipate is getting drunk and winding up in a hotel bed with Inukai that same night. Maybe he shouldn't have been looking for a wife, but a husband instead. To start out with, I'm not too fond of this art style. Particularly, there's something about their narrow and pointed features I don't like. I think it might be the noses. They're giving Thundercats or Who's from Whoville. The side profiles are the worst, but I wouldn't say the art style is terrible. It just really isn't my preference. I'm also not too fond of Saiichi's haircut with his exaggerated coif. If you're not fond of the cover art, which I wasn't, then you probably won't care for the art in the story itself. What I adore though is Saiichi's devotion to his son Ayato. I can 1000% see why Inukai is attracted to Saiichi. I mean, beyond his good looks and hot dad bod, there's just something so endearing and lovely about someone who is so selflessly devoted as a parent, and seeing a positive depiction of a single dad is always a nice addition. Even while courting Inukai, Saiichi always puts his son first, which is just the best. We love Daddy Saiichi in this house. Saiichi as our main character has a well-built background, which is great. However, on the other end, Inukai's background isn't as thoroughly explored. It's given to us in vague flashbacks with very little in the way of explanation. We can make plenty of inferences, but it's not as blatantly put out there as Saiichi's background. Inukai does come forward and describe his history, but it's not as powerful as Saiichi's, since we don't get to see it alongside his explanation as we do with Saiichi's. It's unfortunate since Inukai generally comes off as more creepy in the beginning, and I think his character would have benefited from some time exploring what makes him who he is. Unfortunately, the smut in this isn't the best. It's very sketchy and hard to discern, which is unfortunate since it's between two beefy men, the bottom being the bigger of the two, which is definitely in my line with preferences. There are also mentions of a switch scene that never comes to fruition, which was just a painful tease. More importantly, because Inukai has a father complex, they do some daddy role play, which I didn't think would be an ick for me, but it is. If that's your thing, that's great. We don't believe in kink shaming here, but it definitely isn't my thing. I probably wouldn't have as big of a problem with it if Inukai didn't say that Ayato makes a great younger brother and Saiichi makes a great daddy, giving himself this role as a pseudo-son and pseudo-brother in this family. It isn't incest. It isn't pseudo-incest, but that seems to be the play here, which did not vibe with me. With all that being said, I think this has a ton of potential. Ayato and Saiichi are super strong characters with a really powerful family dynamic. Inukai unfortunately is less so. If Inukai had been better developed, I think the cast and really the story would be stronger overall. This isn't my favorite thing in the world, but I think it has a lot of solid elements. For anyone looking to scratch their daddy kink, this is a pretty good one. It wasn't my thing, but I think it's worth checking out. So, have you read My Sweet Husky Daddy? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!